ladies and gentlemen, I'm welcoming you to another edition of Pony Fanfiction Theater. I'm your host, Nate, and narrating as usual with me is John.
Hi.
And
Sorry.
Mr. Ben.
Yo!
And Daniel.
Like Comedy Dewey.
Yeah, Dewey. Anyways, we're gonna read Elements of Gaming. It's a really awesome fanfiction. I recommend it for people to read along. It's under humor, it's rated T. Let's begin. So, queried Applejack, curiously peering down at the white rectangular box and the four oddly shaped button things that lay on the floor before her. What did you say this thingamajigger was again, Twi? I honestly have no idea what it's supposed to do, said Twilight Sparkle, shrugging her shoulders as she fixed her orange-coated friend with a nonplussed look. She was just as curious about the box as the rest of her 6 friends were. The mail parcel from Canterlot's new science and electronics division had labeled it as an Xbox 360, whatever that is. Apparently, the letter enclosed in the parcel was written by Princess Celestia. Oh, no.
Trolestia.
Princess Trolestia herself. This device is a new prototype developed by the Canterlot University of Electrical Engineering, and they want us to test it out. I don't know, Twilight, Rainbow Dash commented, arching an eyebrow as she cautiously toed one of the small button things before picking one up and examining it closely. I can't even begin to figure out how the hey these things work. I mean, there's so many buttons. How are we supposed to know which one does what? Well, Rainbow Dash, that's where this comes in, proclaimed Twilight, magically levitating a rectangular green case over to the middle of the group. This is what the researchers called a video game. They say it's some sort of entertainment device that is only compatible with the box. Ooh, games! I love games, said Pinkie Pie, immediately perking up at the very moment Twilight uttered the word game. Well, what are we waiting for? What does it say? The pink earth pony practically shot forward and grabbed the small green case out of the air, peering intently down at the cover before her eyes slanted downwards in confusion. Halo Reach? What in the hay is a Halo Reach? Give me that, Pinkie, snapped Twilight, quickly snatching the case out of Pinkie's hands. First of all, it's spelled Halo, H-A-L-O. Secondly, we're here on official orders from the princess herself. Troll herself. We must do her duty to the absolute utmost of our ability. Well, I don't know, Twi. Applejack began uncertainly. I mean, it's flying and all, being hoof-picked by the troll herself, but I am mighty unsure that how we're going to go about this. This thing even a instruction manual or something? Well, let's take a look inside, shall we? Said Twilight, gently prying open the case to reveal a disc and an instruction manual within. However, a few seconds of browsing through the pages of this tiny little book revealed a little about how to operate the box. It seemed that the instructions within the manual were meant for whatever content was hidden within the disc. So, we're playing as these guys then? Said Rainbow Dash asked, gesturing towards the 5 armored ponies who adorned the top of the disc, each one striding hoof to hoof upon a lone hill, a breaking dawn framing the outlines of their suits. They look kinda cool. Well, not as cool as me. Yeah, right. But then again, no pony's cooler than me. Yeah, right. Proclaimed the Rainbow Mane Pegasus. Still, I think we might have something pretty cool going on here, Twilight. Let's get it started. Alright, then it's settled. We'll get the game started and play it, and I'll record all of our findings and report them to Princess Trolestia. Twilight beamed proudly as her horn sparkled, and the disc began to float out of its casing, slowly moving towards the larger white box that awaited in the corner, and then stopping there, as though confused. So, how do we put this disc inside again? She asked, clearly stumped. She looked at the rest of her friends for any prompts or suggestions, but they all either shrugged or gave her nonplussed looks, clearly not knowing any more than she did. Guys, a soft voice spoke up from the corner of the room, and Twilight looked over to see Fluttershy and her butler, Angel Bunny, trying to get themselves heard over the discussion the rest of them were having. The yellow Pegasus pony was standing over the parcel that Princess the troll had mailed to Twilight, reading what looked like a book with the words User Instruction Manual printed in the cover of the large block letters. I think you might want to give this a read first. The hour had passed by was less than fruitful, apparently. The instruction manual dictated that the television set was necessary in order to use the box. In addition to that, it seemed that the box required a plethora of wires and plugs to match the corresponding outlets on Twilight's TV set. They had TV. Otherwise, it would not work. It was all very confusing for those who were not technically inclined. Naturally, Twilight had to figure out something herself as the rest of her friends gathered into her basement laboratory where her television was. Particularly, her friends either ended up watching her intently or did nothing but laze around. Unsurprisingly, Rainbow Dash fell asleep no more than 10 seconds in. "Alright, that should do it," Twilight said with an air of satisfaction as she finally reared her head back up. The last few wires that needed to be connected were in place, and the box was just about ready to work. "Alright, we should just press this button right here." As she pressed a button adorned with a symbol that the manual stated represented the on switch. Almost immediately, a soft, satisfying ding came from the box, a small green dot coming to life where Twilight's hoof had been only moments ago. "Girls, I say we have power," Twilight exclaimed, clearly overjoyed by the prospect of getting the princess's newest device to work. "Well, come on, what are you waiting for?" Rainbow Dash exclaimed as she excitedly rushed forward, grabbing one of the devices that the manual had called a controller up from the floor. Twilight couldn't help but chuckle at her friend's inability to sit still. "Hold on a second, Dash. I still need to place the disc inside the box. There we go." The unicorn's horn lit up once more as the purple aura flared to life. Around both the box, slowly a tray began to extend outward, obviously meant to be some sort of receptacle for the game. As soon as Twilight had started the disc, the tray receded back into the box, leaving the 6 gathered ponies to watch and wonder as the television screen turned into a crisp, clear white. Shortly after, a wisp of green began to encircle a large silver globule that appeared on screen. Merging with the aforementioned sphere, the green wisp etched a large stylized X onto its surface, clearly some sort of form of a logo. And who the hell was laughing?
That's me, I think.
As the words Xbox 360 materialized on the bottom of the screen with a low, futuristic hum before the display eventually faded to black, and quite a few of the ponies assembled but couldn't help but let out a rather long "ooh" of amazement. Rarity gave a low, appreciative watching the display intently.
Sorry.
Elegant yet simple, excellent use of the colors and form, not to mention a perfect mixture of showiness and elegance. My, these ponies know a thing or two about how to impress. I like you bitch. Shh, it's starting. Pinkie Pie suddenly shushed the white unicorn as the screen went dark, leaving the 6 mares staring at the screen in captivated wonder. Several odd light blue lines began to silently pop up on the screen, arranging themselves in a strange symmetrical patterns before disappearing. Rainbow Dash gave a rather odd stare at the vanished display, obviously disappointed. "Well, that wasn't what I was." And then that's when a heavy orchestral score boomed out of Twilight's basement's mounted surround sound speakers. Fluttershy, not expecting the sudden sound at all, gave a startled squeak. It almost darted to hide behind Rarity, who was next to her, but the movement died halfway as her eyes widened in awe of the images that came to life on the screen next. And we'll continue this in part 2.